On Friday, I taught you the percent proportion. Okay? Today, I'm going to teach you the percent equation. Both methods are used to solve percent problems. So before we do percent equation, I just want to review real quick the percent proportion. All right? So say it with me if you remember. It's A over W equals P over 100. Okay? And our key word for A, does anybody remember the key word for A that helps us know that value is my A value? Starts with an I. Is. My key word for A is. And does anybody remember your key word for W? Of. Okay? So if I see of 200, I know that's my W value or my total value. All right? So A over W equals P over 100. So today, your formula is very similar. The percent equation, A still stands for is, W still stands for of. But there's one key difference here. In the percent proportion, P is over what? P is over 100. So in the percent proportion, the formula converts the percentage. P is not over 100 here. Do you guys see that? So you have to convert the percent to a decimal. You have to do that conversion. The proportion converts it for us. The equation, we have to do it. So that's why I said the percent must be written as a decimal. If you forget to change the percent to a decimal, your answer will be wrong every time. The numbers might be right, but the decimal will be in the wrong place. Okay? So just be careful about that. But like we said, the variables still stand for the same thing. So when you look at these percent problems, don't these look similar to what we saw on Friday? Okay, they do. They're the exact same problem. So you might go through the lesson today and you might say, I love percent equation. This is my jam. I like this one, not so much percent proportion, or vice versa. The good news is on the test, you're going to be able to pick whichever one you like. Okay, now I'm going to kind of show you, I'm all about getting to the answer the fastest way. Anybody else like that? Like cut through the junk or whatever. I just want to get to the answer the fastest way. So I do think the proportion works when I'm solving for percent faster, and then the equation works when I'm solving for A or W. But we'll get to that. For today, okay, we're going to solve all the problems using percent equation. So we're going to act like this is the method, okay? This is the only method. So what number is 24% of 50? So I'm going to start off, okay? And this is just going to help you guys memorize the percent equation. We're going to write the original formula on every single problem. That includes your homework tonight, okay? That was just classwork. We didn't get to it because of the chapel schedules Thursday and Friday. So don't worry about the classwork that was in your notes. It's just extra practice. You can practice that, studying for your quiz or whatnot. Okay, so what number is 24% of 50? The reason I want you to write the percent sign in the original formula is to remind you that you must change the percent to a what? Decimal, and then plug it in. Okay, so I don't know my is. It says what number is. I don't know is equals 0.24. I get the question every single time. It's going to do I have to put the 0? Okay, here's the problem. If I don't ask you to put your 0, there are so many people that smash that decimal point straight up against the equal sign, and then they forget there's a decimal there. Y'all know what I'm talking about, right? So the 0 is a placeholder, but it also helps you really see where the decimal point is in the number. All right, maybe some of y'all are guilty of not being able to read your own handwriting from time to time. Okay, it happens. It happens. I don't have the neatest handwriting either. All right, my of 50. Okay, so now I plug that in for W. Okay, so now it's just simple multiplication to find A. What is 0.24 times 50? Something. It is something, that's for sure. What is 0.24 times 50? It is not 12, but 0.24. No, actually it might be 12. No, it's not 0.12. It's 12. It's 12. You absolutely can use a calculator. And on this one, I probably would. Okay, 0.24 times 50 is 12. A equals 12. All right, what number is 150% of 40? I want you to try to comprehend what you're reading here. Okay, some number, I don't know the value, is going to be 150% of 40. So tell me, that value, my A value, do you think it's going to be more than 40 or less than 40 if it's 150% of that number? It's going to be more than 40. So when you plug in the numbers into your formula, remember, write the OG, write that original, okay? All right, when you plug in the numbers, make sure your answer makes sense. All right, A equals, what is 150% as a decimal? 1.50, okay? If you put the 0 or don't, it's not going to have any effect, okay? Times it by my W, all right? 1.5. Anybody remember your mental math trick? No. Don't just go straight to them calculators. 1 times 40, and then what's half of 40? What's half of 40? 20. What's 40 plus 20? 60. Okay, so you can very easily do that mental math, all right? So I know we have the calculators, but don't become so dependent on them that you forget about those mental math tricks that are real quick. Because I guarantee you, your brain works faster than those fingers punching in the numbers. Okay? All right, so we found the part. So guess what, guys? The other examples, we're just solving for different parts of the percent equation. Now I'm going to find the what? I'm going to find the percent. So 9.5 is what percent of 25? What do I always start with? Formula. Okay. Which value do you think you will plug in for A? Someone raise your hand. Okay. Hopefully all 15 of you. Okay. What value are you going to plug in for A? Remember, what's my keyword for A? Is. Haley, what do you think? 9.5, right on. Okay. Equals, do I know P? No. So I can't convert anything to a decimal yet because I don't know what the percent is. So P times 25. But is this how I normally write a number times a variable? No. P times, I write it 25P. So I just want you guys to remember to reverse that order. Doesn't change your answer, but I want the number to come first, then the variable. Algebraically, that's the correct way to do it. All right, so now we divide both sides by 25. And what's 9.5 divided by 25? 2.0. It should be a pretty long decimal.
It's like 2 point something.
P equals, no, not 2 point. 9.5 divided by 25. Okay? 0.38. But remember, we have not done our conversion yet. Okay? So while the percent proportion would have given me the percent because 100 is in that formula, I have to convert it at the end. So what is 0.38 as a percent? 38%. Okay? You must convert it on your own at the end. So this is why I said I actually prefer percent proportion when I'm solving for percent because the conversion is built into the formula. If you use the equation, you just have to remember to convert it yourself. Okay? Not a big deal. All right, so now I want you guys to try to do this next one on your own. First hour did pretty good on it, so we'll just see who can get it. Now, biggest mistake I see, though, is getting that decimal in the wrong place. So make sure you follow the steps. All right, very good. So when we divided both sides by 600, we had 3 equals 600p. divided both sides by 600. P equaled 0.005, but then we had to bump our decimal to get 0.5%. You guys did really well on that. 0.5%. Don't be thrown off. Sometimes your percentage can still have that decimal in it. All right, in example 3, now I'm solving for a different part of the percent equation. Okay, so it says 39 is 52% of what number? So same thing, I start with my equation. A equals P percent times W. Okay, P percent times W. And 39 equals, but what do I have to do to my percentage again? Make it a decimal. So 0.52 times W. I don't know my of. I don't know my W value. So now what would I divide both sides by to solve for W?
52.
0.52. You must divide by the decimal version. 0.52. So W equals what's 39 divided by 0.52.
0.75. Wait.
Not 0.75.
75.
Just 75. All right, Hudson, you want to go up to the screen and do the next one? Okay, so just hit the X up on that toolbar and then swipe it to the left. Okay, all right, let's see who can get this next one. I saw 2 different answers. Yep, now hit the pencil. No, swipe it the other way. Like from right to left. Yep, swipe it from right to left. Yep, and do it. Okay, now hit the side arrow and hit the pencil. The side arrow, yep, and hit the pencil. Perfect. And then, all right, now you're good. Okay, so we're doing 90 is 180% of what number? Go ahead and plug them in and solve. All right. Yeah, I had a pause. All right, 90 equals, what did you plug in for 180%? 1.80. Okay, 1.80 W. Divide both sides by 1.80 or just 1.8. W equals what, guys? 50. So if you got 0.5, that means you forgot to change the percent to a decimal. All right, 50 with the smiley face. Okay, now here comes the part where we got to put on our thinking caps. Okay, we're going to do a couple of these. So if I were to tell you, this number is going to work out to be kind of goofy. I might change that. Well, it's just the answer is a decimal, but the concept is still the same. Okay, so I'm just going to go with it. If I were to tell you that my goal, my fundraising goal, is $10,000, okay? The total or the whole is 100% of that amount. Does that make sense? Okay, so if I say my goal was $10,000 and I got to 100%, then that's $10,000, right? Okay, so your total, your W value is going to be 100% of the whole. Are you with me? Okay, look at this percentage. What do you notice about that percent? It's 150%. Okay, so now the reason I'm pointing that out is you have to determine if 8,000 is your A value or your W value. So your mind tends to think, oh, well, I raised $8,000, so that's my total, that's my W. But that's not what it's saying here, okay? It's saying that you raised $8,000, which means that number is 150% of your goal. Does that make sense? Your goal is the 100%, okay? So 8,000 is your A value. All right? It's hard, guys. There's no way around it. It's not an easy concept. It takes practice. But hopefully you can see the logic behind what I just explained to you. If I explain it again, it's not going to make any more sense. Okay, so we just have to practice. All right, so A equals P% times W. Okay, 8,000 is my part because it represents 150%, which is more than the 100%. So 8,000 equals, what's 150% as a decimal? 1.5 W. And think about it this way, guys. When I set it up this way, what I'm saying is 8,000 is 1.5 times whatever W is. Doesn't that make sense? Okay, it equals that. So now, in order to solve, I must divide both sides by 1.5. Here's where the number gets a little messy. Okay, it is. So my goal, remember, W stands for my goal, or what was my 100% if I reached 100% of my goal was $5,333.33. Maybe the principal's favorite number was a 3. Okay, and that's why he made it that goal, or she made it that goal. All right, so don't worry that it was a repeating decimal.
Oh, I put the repeating.
Okay, well, you can't repeat a penny. You just round to the penny.
Oh.
But the main thing is, can you figure out what value gets plugged in for the part and what value gets plugged in for the total? The question comes down to which value represents 100%. Okay? And because 8,000 was more than 100%, I knew that stood for my part. Okay? Another tricky part was the part was more than the goal because you exceeded your expectations. You know, that kind of applies, though, since we're in a fundraiser right now.
Yeah,
Don't we want to exceed 100%?
Donate
I know. I got them too, guys. I got them too.
I said
Okay. All right. Read the pie chart. Okay. The basketball one, I guess that L, that's not a 1. That L got knocked off the end of the word basketball. Okay. So let's interpret the pie chart. How many students played volleyball?
64.
64. How many play basketball?
46.
46. Softball. 32. Baseball. 60. Okay. But remember, guys, this is a part of a formula. The more you learn how to plug in the values to which part of the formula, the better you're going to be when these concepts get even harder later in the chapter. Okay. So I still use A equals P times W. Okay. So A is the part, W is the whole. The concept is students who play a sport. So how many students, what percentage, it says find the percentage of students who play basketball. Well, how many students play basketball?
46.
Do you think that's the value for A or W?
W. Definitely.
It is A because 46 students out of, but wait a second, it doesn't give me my W value. How can I figure out what my total is? Add up all the students who play a sport. 64 plus 46 plus 32 plus 60. If you're doing this mental math, there are numbers that are easier to combine together than others. But again, your calculator is allowed. 46 equals 202. Guys, this is so important. What are you solving for? P. Make sure you put that so you don't forget to change it back to a percent. Now, what would you divide both sides by? 202. Divide both sides by 202. And what is, it's going to be a long decimal. We're going to go 4 decimal places out. P equals.
4 point something.
No. Don't go the wrong way. 46 divided by 202.
2277.
Point what?
I got 0.2277.
Okay, 0.2277. So the fourth 7 rounds the third 7 to a? Up to a? 8. Okay, and then you bump your decimal to the right. So my percent is approximately 22.8%. So that squiggly equal sign, okay, the squiggles, I like to call them the squiggles just because it's a fun word, okay, means that I rounded my percentage. I'm acknowledging that this is not exact, that I rounded, but it's pretty stinking close.
Pretty
0.8. So that means there's only like
Can you really have 0.8 of a person though?
Yeah.
Like
But I mean,
percent?
you could.
Okay,
They
so,
were amputated.
all right, I know. Yeah, so, okay, number 2. Do the same thing for students who play softball. Right now, everybody, okay, we're almost done. The same thing for students who play softball. Go ahead and set it up the same way. All right, try to stay a little bit ahead of me. All right, divide both sides by 202. And P equals
15.8%.
It's
Oh, the
0.184. Okay, so what does the 4 do to the 8?
Let it leave it.
Keeps it the same. And then I bought my decimal to change it to a percent. P is approximately 15.8%. Okay. Yeah. All right. So according to this, can you answer this question? Which sport has the greater percentage of students playing between these two? Basketball. Typically, schools tend to be a little bit heavier in the softball than basketball, but in this school, it was the other.
Why is there football on there?
I guess it was girls' sports because of volleyball. Okay? It didn't say, but that's my assumption.
Volleyball only to
All right, listen, you're paying for lunch. Did you know that the price on the menu is not your final amount? Because you pay tax, and what should you always do for your servers? You should tip them.
Tip them a cent.
Give them a tip, okay? So your tax is based on, listen guys, your tax is based on how much your food costs. So did you know that there's like a flat percentage of tax that you pay? Okay? So the tax gets added to your food total to give you your subtotal. All right? So now let's read the question and see what we can answer. It says find the percent. So what do I not know? I don't know percent of sales tax on the food total. Okay? So out of these two numbers, which one do you think is the part and which one do you think is the whole? Yes, tax is the A value or the part. Food total is the W value or the whole. Okay, so here we go. 1.65. I plug that in for A. That's a part of my food total. Equals 27.50. And what am I solving for? P. Okay, percent. So now, what do I do to both sides to solve for P?
Divide 27.5.
Yes, divide 27.50. Do you guys see the similarity here to what we're doing?
I'm so smart.
Okay.
That's what she said.
All right. So 1.65 divided by 27.50. What do you get?
6%.
P equals 0.06, but is that a percentage?
No.
All right. So my percent is 6%. All right, here's what I'm saying. If I paid $1.65 in tax, that means I paid 6% in tax to get to my subtotal. All right, so 6% was my tax. Now it says you leave a 16% tip where? On the food total, 16%.
Oh,
Find,
the A value.
okay? So now it says find the total amount you pay for lunch. Well, it said I paid a 16% tip, but I don't know how much that tip was. That's A. A is going to be a part. It's going to be 16% of my food total, but I don't know how much money that is. Okay? So A stands for my tip, equals my percentage as a decimal. Don't forget to change it. times my food total. That's going to tell me how much my tip amount was. What's 0.16, round to the nearest penny if you need to, times 27.5.
4.4.
Okay, as a dollar.
4.4.
As a dollar.
$4.04.
$4, nope, and 40 cents. Okay, so now I can answer the actual question. What is the total amount of money that I paid for
So
lunch?
then you do that plus 27.
No, not 27.
29.
Yes, add $4.40 to the $29.15 because that includes my tax. Okay, and I get $33.55. That's the total amount that I paid. $33, and it's right over there on the right on the receipt. That's expensive. That's probably like a steak dinner, probably.
Wait, it was only one person?
Yeah. So it's probably like they probably got maybe a fillet. They're just
$4.
filling.
This restaurant, we be spending.
Yeah, you would be. Okay.
But how do you know
All right.
it's only one person? What does it say?
Yeah.
It well, yeah. I mean, it didn't say how many entrees.
You're right. You're right.
Wait, if
So
that
that's
was
like
my
that's
choice,
like
it's
3 entrees, probably at Chipotle.
Could just be getting a lot of McDonald's.
That's true. That's true. All right, guys. That's everything you need to know for today's lesson.